Yes, this is episode 2 of Fairly Unbalanced, political blah 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 with me, Mike. Um, and my thoughts today are really pretty simple. I've just had a flood of different metaphors flying around in my head for how badly the GOP did in this election cycle. I mean, they were playing downhill. They were playing with the wind at their back. They were playing against opponents who had been whose knees had been broken by inflation and gas prices and just the generalized miserable discontent that is the milieu of the United States these days. And very importantly, the refs are on their side. The New York Times just cannot figure out how to write any story other than how is this bad for Joe Biden. So with all of that, the fact that they still managed to lose the Senate and quite possibly will lose the House is chef's kiss, beautiful. And it's also really really bad looking forward. And I'm going to do one more deep stacks metaphor here for Star Trek geeks. What's his name? The runny guy. Um, Josh Hawley yesterday tweeted something about it's time for a new party, which is actually something the Nazis said too, but we get used to those overtones, don't we? Um, uh, but they can't really build a new party. And the Deep Stacks Star Trek geek metaphor is that in 2024 and right now in the lead up to the next election, they're really facing a Kobayashi Maru test, which for those of you who know your Star Trek lore, is the unwinnable situation that all Star Trek captains must face before they graduate from Starfleet Academy. And notably, unless the new shows have screwed this up somehow, the only captain who ever actually beat the Kobayashi Maru was Captain James T. Kirk, who snuck into the computer and reprogrammed it the night before. Um, but there's not a chance in hell that there's a single Republican in the United States smart enough to reprogram a computer, much less to defeat a no-win situation test. And here's why it's a no-win situation from my perspective, in my opinion. Um, any reform that the GOP is going to do means they have to get rid of some of the people they perceive to be assholes inside their tent. The so-called mainstream Republicans are going to want to form a new party by getting rid of the MAGA assholes. The MAGA assholes are going to try and get rid of the centrists. And so after an election in which it was nearly impossible for them to lose, wind at their back, playing downhill, refs on their side, opponents tied down like gimps in a sex dungeon, and they still fucked it up. Stuff doesn't get better from here for them. And if they're going to reform their party, they have to reform it first by cutting off one of its legs, which is going to just be beautiful to watch. And I cannot wait to celebrate it. The battle between the potato-looking gentleman from Florida, Ron DeSanctimonious, and the orange-flavored fellow from Mar-a-Lago, not New York. That asshole left us. Is going to be a beautiful thing to watch. It is going to be wonderful to watch the little tiny mini Trumps get out there and rally behind him only to be swept aside. Because in the end, it doesn't matter what happens in the party. It's that the voters aren't there for them. This was the high watermark for these assholes, and they couldn't get it done. We might even hold the House, which is just a remarkable thing. So, Kobayashi Maru, wind at your back, all of those things today. Just some thoughts. And as always, love to you all.